Konza Prairie is a world-class research site, and I don't think a lot of people realize that around here. We're celebrating our 40th year of Konza Prairie. It's set up as a very, very large experiment where grazing and fire is manipulated for long-term periods. Bison are one of the main drivers that determine what grasslands look like and how they function. And one of the things we'd like to do here at Konza Prairie is understand more about the decisions they make in terms of where they spend time and how much they forage and where they forage. So we have a herd that's about 300 animals plus calves, and so we've taken some number of animals and put GPS collars on them so we can actually track exactly how they're using the site. So we end up getting a GPS reading for these 15 animals about every 30 minutes during the growing season. Well, we started working on this about 5 years ago with some pilot work. The collars are kind of expensive, so we wanted to make sure it works. We were able to build up, so now we have enough collars so we get a pretty good sense of how bison are using the site. The project itself is funded for minimally 2 more years and maybe 3. Our hope, though, is that the information we're obtaining from this is of sufficient value that we can turn this into one of our long-term research projects out here. For us, a long-term research project's 20 or 30 years. In addition, because of their major impact on the grasslands, they're having a big impact on everything else, and especially the plants and then the insect communities. A big part of our project actually is to also track how insects are responding to bison use. We've picked areas where there's a lot of bison use and areas where there's less bison use, and then we have ungrazed areas. So we're going to be comparing sort of insect responses to see how they respond to bison. We've also set up 2 fairly large-scale experiments where we're manipulating forage quality using fertilizer to see if we can sort of direct how bison are selecting patches. We actually set up patches of different size with the hope that we can find out what is the minimum size patch that bison recognize. Konza Prairie is 40 years old, and the Konza Prairie Long-Term Ecological Research Program is 30 years old, and it was time for a celebration. We've invited grassland research scientists from around the world, and we're setting up a symposium so that we will present what we've learned at Konza over the last 30 to 40 years, and then we're going to ask researchers from other parts of the world to talk about the same ideas from their perspective, working in different places. The ultimate goal is a new synthesis for how to understand grasslands.